Hi, this is Dr. Lindsay. In this video, what I want to do is go over the handout to the supply and demand part 2, the handout. And this is really about consumer surplus. So question 1 is, you see a pair of shoes you like and you're willing to pay $90 for them. Then you notice the price of the shoes are only $65. Would you purchase them? Well, yes. If you're willing to purchase them for $95 and they're only $65, that's great. Yes, you would buy them. Would you be better off by buying them? Yes, you would. You're trading something and you're getting something more than you're giving up. It has more value to you than you're paying for it. So yeah, you actually be better off by doing this. And there's some consumer surplus. What would that consumer surplus be? Well, it would be the $90 minus the $65. And we can measure that value of what's called the consumer surplus between the price you pay and what you're willing to pay, then is $35. What would the consumer surplus be for someone who's willing to pay $150 for? Well, it'd be a lot more. If they're willing to pay $150, they only have to pay $65. That means their consumer surplus is going to be $85. Would someone be willing to pay, who would be willing to pay at most $50 for these shoes? Would they buy them? No, of course not. They would have to pay more than the value of them. Next question, what price to enter the national park would maximize consumer surplus? So remember, consumer surplus is what we'll be willing to pay. And we're going to subtract off what we actually pay for the consumer surplus. So we say, well, here's the demand curve to go to the national parks. The consumer surplus is the area here, the difference between the price that people are willing to pay and the actual price of the product. So if the price to enter the national parks was down here at say $20, the consumer surplus would be this area. What price would actually maximize the entire surplus? That would be if they were free. So if it was absolutely free to enter the national parks, then this consumer surplus would be all of this area under the demand curve. Okay, now in this next question, question number 3, we're going to take a look at the housing market again. If the demand for existing homes decrease, what would you expect to happen in the market for new housing? So think of existing homes and new homes as substitutes. And if we're going to look at them, then use 2 graphs. 2 supply and demand graphs, one for existing homes and another for new homes. And what's going to happen to the total surplus in the market for 2 homes? So the demand for homes, existing homes, decreases. So that would shift the demand curve to the left. Maybe it's because people don't want to buy a home anymore. Maybe they're dropping in value. Their expectations or homes are going to be going down in price. Okay, well, now we don't want to buy a home anymore. Or maybe interest rates have gone up. Now they're more expensive to buy a home. So that might make the demand fall. Whatever the reason is, we have a new equilibrium, a new price for homes, and the prices fall, at least in the short run, for homes. Now, what about the market for new homes? We had an equilibrium up here at some price, and the price was probably a little bit higher than the price of the existing homes. New homes cost a little bit more. People prefer to have a new home over an older home, so we expect the price to be higher, everything else equal. And we'd be able to measure the consumer surplus and the producer surplus, because the consumer surplus would be this area underneath the demand curve and above the price, and the producer surplus would be this area down here that is above the supply curve and below the price. So the total surplus would be the consumer surplus plus the producer surplus. So what happened to total surplus in the market when the demand falls? Well, since they're substitutes and the demand is falling for existing homes, the price of existing homes is cheaper. That means people are going to substitute away from the new homes and start buying the existing homes, which means the demand will fall for new homes. And there'll be an equilibrium. And what we'll see is the price of the new homes falling and the quantity fall too. Maybe it'll fall to the point where the builders won't build any new homes at all. What's going to happen to the total surplus? Well, now the total surplus is going to be, I'll draw it here in blue, this area here under the demand curve, plus this area here for the consumer surplus. And you can see that total surplus has fallen significantly from this.